With that, call to order 6:01. Roll call, please.
Mr. Alcazar,
Present.
Mr. Van Berenson,
Here.
Ms. DeVoe, Ms.
Here.
DeVoe,
Here.
okay, Ms. Ford,
She's here.
Mr. Schmidt,
Here.
Mr. Tewari,
Here.
and Chairman Galtieri.
Here. All right, I would ask that you all mute while we do the pledge of allegiance. It is up to your discretion if you want to stand or not. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 231, New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has provided by the giving of notice to the Courier News, posting the agenda in the public lobby of the building 48 hours prior to the meeting, delivery of this notice to the Franklin Township Clerk at least 48 hours prior to this meeting, and mailing notice to those persons properly requesting to be mailed notification of meetings at least 48 hours prior to this meeting. Mr. Attorney, your section.
In addition, Mr. Chairman, because this meeting is being conducted electronically pursuant to because of COVID-19, pursuant to the provisions of the governor's executive orders and Chapter 11 of the Public Laws of 2020, as well as subsequent local finance notices, this matter is being conducted by Zoom in accordance with those requirements.
All right, thank you, sir. Next up, do we have a motion to open the meeting for public comments?
Motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of opening the meeting for public comments, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay. Seeing no public on, is there a motion to close the meeting for public comments?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of closing the meeting for public comments, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. On to item number 7, approval of the minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes that were distributed for the December 1st meeting?
Yeah, I have one comment. I was at the meeting via computer, but I'm missing on the list top for present.
Okay, if we can amend this to reflect that our operations manager was present. Anything else? With that, is there a motion to approve the working session monthly board meeting minutes from December 1st, 2020 as proposed, proposed to be amended?
Motion.
Motion.
Second, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Van Berenson,
Yes.
Ms. DeVoe,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Tewari,
Yes.
and Chairman Galtieri.
Yes. Okay, as previously mentioned, that given the brevity of this meeting, we rearranged the schedule the agenda just a little bit. So next up we have board action items, any topics requiring actionable attention. So I will turn this over to Mr. Danielson. Who is muted?
Sorry. Chairman, one action item involves the East Millstone Pump Station rehab. I'm sorry, the Somerset Street Pump Station project, closing out with the contractor, Grade Construction. CDM and our board attorney have a plan to close them out. There's two pay items, number 1 and number 8. And I'm asking the board to give me the authority to sign off on change order number 1 in the amount of $36,192.92 and 45 and sign requisition number 8 in the amount of $45,546.47, and allowing those two to be contingent upon the approval of both CDM Smith and our board attorney. And the reason we want to do this, get the approval first, is because we think we can conclude this on Thursday.
And what we'll do, Mr. Chairman, if I may, is that we will put together a subsequent resolution memorializing same for the purposes of the record.
Okay.
But this is a recommendation from my office, Howard's office, and the interim executive director.
Okay. Any concerns with the numbers that you've seen, or is this,
These numbers are ostensibly acceptable. If it becomes a problem, we will be back to you all in February, because the authorization is not to exceed either number.
okay. Any question by any of the commissioners on this item? As a reminder, this is so that we can finally close out with this contractor who we've been chasing down for, Howard, how many months now?
Too
Oh,
many.
more than 12.
Okay, so this is to finally close out the first phase of construction on this project. So, okay, if there are no other questions, is there a motion to approve this resolution?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please, then.
You're muted, April.
Who was the second for that motion?
I did.
Okay,
John
thank-
Berenson.
got it, thank you. Mr. Berenson,
Yes.
Ms. DeVoe?
Yeah.
Ms. Ford?
Is Teresa muted?
No. Ms. Ford?
Yes.
And Chairman Galtieri?
Yes, did we get Mr. Tawari?
No?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we have five yes votes. Okay. Mr. Danielson, is there anything else that the board, any additional action items that the board would need to take action on?
No, Chairman.
Okay. So moving along to resolutions. Okay, for resolutions, the approval of the resolutions will be done by consent agenda. All the items listed below are considered to be of routine nature, thereby requiring one motion and 1 second for all items. If any member wishes to remove an item from the consent agenda, please advise myself at this time which item, which resolution needs to be handled separately or that you have questions on, and they will be addressed and voted on separately. Resolution number 0105-2021-1, payroll account of $197,717.98. Resolution number 0105-2021-2, operating expense account of $225,278.57. Resolution number 0105-2021-3, general fund of $3,302.20. Resolution number 0105-2021-4, renewal and replacement of $86,532.20. And resolution number 0105-2021-5, North Track Crossing, for the amount of $4,857. If there are no questions or resolutions to be voted on separately at this time, is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
second Tiwari,
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Ann Berenson,
Yes.
Ms. DeVoe,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Tewari,
yes.
and Chairman Galtieri.
Yes. Okay, we have 3 additional items. However, before I ask the board to vote on them, I want to do a quick synopsis if we can. Resolution number 6, this is what was presented to us last year for the audit by Mr. Hodgelik. So this one should be pretty straightforward. Resolution number 7, this is for the authorization of a contract for Marcy Street. Either Joe or Joe, if you want to briefly speak to it, just so the board's aware of how much the contract is for and what's and how that aligned with what the projection was.
You talking about accepting the annual audit report?
No, so that I said was pretty straightforward. The next item, for Joe Med contracting.
Okay, well, I think it's best to let Joe Jamel speak on that. Is he, yeah,
Yep.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here. Okay. This is a resolution authorizing the award of the contract for the rehabilitation for the Marcy Street area. The low bid was by Joe Med, $3,200,000. That was below the estimate. It was also about $300,000 less than the next lowest bidder. So it's a good bid. We checked their references. CME has worked with them before, and we feel confident that they'll be able to execute the contract work according to the plans and specifications. They are also indicated in their bid documents that they will be using National Water Main as a subcontractor for the lining work. The previous 2 rehabilitation projects that the authority has undertaken were executed primarily, they were lining by National Water Main, and those projects were satisfactory.
Okay. So it seems like we have confidence in this contractor going in and also their subcontractors then.
Correct, and the pricing is well within what we had anticipated.
What was our anticipated amount, Joe?
We were around 5 million, so we were a lot higher.
Okay.
So we were on the very conservative side with this.
So, wait, I just want to clarify. So that was for construction, we were estimating 5 million and their estimated construction is coming in at 3.2 for the bid. Is that correct?
That is correct.
We might be able to breathe a little bit towards the end of this project. So that could be some good news, but we'll see as the project progresses, because as we all know, ground conditions change and conditions. So, okay. So that is, any questions from commissioners on this item?
Well, Chairman, I don't want you to fall into the trap, of the Marcy Street rehab. We budgeted 5.2. This is just the construction costs.
Correct. You're right. Correct.
We fell into that problem in the past. So that if we're talking 3.2, a rough estimate, you take 25% of that and add it on to it for possibly a total project cost.
Correct, but we're still under the construction cost estimate, so we can afford to pay our engineers for this now. They don't have to sweat and hope they get the check in the mail.
Okay, Joe, when you said that construction cost a little over 5 million, was that construction cost or the whole project cost?
That was estimated construction cost.
Okay.
We've been previously authorized for construction phase services, engineering services on this. So it has already been authorized by the authority and presumably budgeted that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So any questions from commissioners on this? On paper, this sounds like we're starting the year off on a good foot. with this. So this is some good news. Everybody celebrate. I know we have to wait for construction to finish, but this is something we can. All right. And then resolution number 8. I want to make sure. So as I'm reading this, I want to ensure that the title has a K for risk after Arthur J. Gallagher. On my paper, it says RIS management. But beyond that, is there, Joe, can you speak to this briefly? Joe Danielson?
Chairman, this is a risk management consultant that is, my understanding, comes with and is bound to our JIF coverage and our relationship with them,
Okay.
and is in accordance with the bylaws of that JIF.
Okay. Any questions on this item? All right, with that, I will now do this in order. Is there a motion for resolution number 0105-2021-6, resolution to accept the annual audit report for the fiscal year ended May 31st, 2020?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second, DeVoe.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Ann Barronson,
Yes.
Ms. DeVoe?
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Tewari,
Yes.
and Chairman Galtieri.
Yes. Is there a motion for resolution number 0105-2021-7, resolution authorizing the executive director and board chairman secretary to execute an agreement with Jomed Contracting LLC for the sanitary sewer rehabilitation project at North Crossing, Marcy Street area on behalf of the Franklin Township Sewerage Authority?
Motion, Tiwari?
Okay, is there a second?
Second, Ram.
Second, Ford.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ann Barronson,
Yes.
Ms. DeVoe?
Yes.
Ms. Ford? Ms. Ford?
Yes.
Okay. Chairman Galtieri.
You skip Mr. Tewari again.
Mr. Tewari?
Yes.
And Chairman Galtieri.
Yes. All right, is there a motion for resolution number 0105-2021-8, resolution for a one-year risk management consultant agreement with Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services Incorporated as required in the bylaws of the New Jersey Utility Municipal Joint Insurance Fund?
Motion, Ram.
Ford.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Ann Barronson,
Yes.
Ms. DeVoe?
Yes.
Ms. Ford?
Yes.
Mr. Tewari?
Yes.
And Chairman Galtieri.
Yes. All right, now to resume our normal meetings, meeting items.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I apologize. I'll take the blame for this. I think we forgot an item that needed action, and that is the approval to award CDM Smith the amendment to their agreement for East Millstone Pump Station.
Okay, do we have an amount for that?
That approval was reviewed and okayed by our board attorney. And stand by on that amount. Didn't have that project.
I think the amendment was for 125,000.
Says you. Is it?
Well, it's better than an invisible number or blank check at this point, so.
Yeah, it's
And Howard, this is for construction, the construction phase of East Millstone Pump Station?
Correct. It's for shop drawing reviews, RFIs, kind of the office services, similar to what Joe was indicating they were going to be providing for the other assignment. Office services, and then it's got some resident engineering in there as well.
Okay.
Right, 178,200.
178,200? Wait,
Was that the document you sent me and reviewed on November 16th?
I reviewed it as the substance. I don't recall the number exactly. It was an addendum to allow construction oversight ostensibly in shop drawing.
I mean, I'll take Howard's number.
Yeah, I like Howard's number too.
Oh, wait. You can proceed on, and then I'll circle back with this number once I pull it out of the files here.
Okay. Joe, I will table this item for just now until we get a confirmation on the number, and then we'll proceed.
Okay, we could also do an amount not to exceed if you wanted to.
Mr. Attorney, should we do amount not to exceed based on the higher number, and that should cover us?
I'm loath to agree with that.
I tend to, I'm in agreement on that. I'd rather have the number before they ask the board to give a go ahead on this. Okay, with that, while we wait on those numbers, we will go on to our additional updates, professional reports. Actually, I will do this out of order since two of our professionals and our interim executive director are looking for information. I will let Scott present for a couple minutes for the operations report. Because I know the staff has been busy. Scott, you're muted.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make this as brief as possible. During the month, we had two heavy rainstorms where we had to do bypass at Somerset Street Pump Station. On both occasions, they just happened to fall on the holiday of Christmas and New Year's Day. So, the guy himself, we were pretty busy for the holiday. With that said, is Somerset Street, as it seems to come up quite a bit, we had the pumps were jamming there quite routinely. And I complained to pumping services on a number of occasions, who reached out to the manufacturer, who came up with basically a recall retrofit for the pumps. And we made a scheduled appointment to bring the pumps to them. They did the retrofit, and the pumps have been working properly ever since. Another item that we had an issue with, there was an oil leak with the emergency generator. And Cooper Power Systems, who supplied the generator, came out, troubleshot the problem. They had to replace the rear main seal, which meant they had to basically dismantle the whole generator from the engine. It was a big job. It was 3 days. Understanding for FTSA, knowing that if we had a city power issue, since we had the bypass pump on site, that would be our standby source of pumping sewer. So everything was always, under control there. There were no order complaints for the month. Guys were performing inspections, final inspections, sewer install inspections for different projects. We didn't perform any sewer cleaning of gravity sewer this month. Some due to weather, but mostly due to the limited staff we have each week as we are working rotating crews. We did assist the authority staff assisted the DPW during the snowstorm of 12/16 through 12/17. I believe everything went well with that. Got a phone call. I got a phone call from Carl thanking us for our assistance. 2 flow meters were installed in the downstream area of the drainage area for the Marcy Street project. And that is basically to collect data pre and post construction to see how much I&I we actually remove from doing this project. So those were installed on the 15th, and I believe they're going to be in about 3 months, give or take. All right. No accidents or injuries for the month, and the current month's connections are 4. So total to date is 27.5, and the anticipated for the fiscal year is 225.5. Hope that was brief enough.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Scott?
I found the number. I concur with what Joe said, 178,200.
Okay. So Scott, a sincere thank you and a note of appreciation to the guys for coming in on the holidays. I know that some have to come in anyways to do routine stuff, but not as many hours. So we do have to make it a priority this year, as we've highlighted, to continue to work on Somerset Street. But again, thank you to the guys for their work and assisting the municipality in the snowstorm. I know that's definitely above and beyond, but it helped greatly. And I know there were a couple of relief people when we just said yes and didn't do anything and just had the guys available. So thank you. Okay, any other questions on this? With that, I will circle back to Joe. Can you repeat the number? It's 178,000.
200.
Okay.
$178,200.
Okay, so we will need a motion to approve the addendum to the CDM contract for East Millstone construction phase, or the East Millstone Pumping Station construction phase for amount of $178,200. Is that correct, Mr. Bernstein?
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed, okay. Did I at least get that somehow coherently out? I know that was very broken up as I was trying.
So, yes.
Okay. With that, is there a motion to approve that, a motion for that resolution?
Motion Tiwari.
Okay, is there a second?
Second Ford.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Van Berenson,
You're muted.
Yes.
Ms. DeVoe?
Yes.
Ms. Ford?
Yes.
Mr. Tiwari?
Yes.
And Chairman Galtieri?
Yes. And Scott can relax slightly as we now authorize at least the engineering part of East Millstone Pump Station. So that can proceed. All right. Time check. I think we still have some time, so let's go through executive summary for any of the professional reports, and then we can go right on to the executive director report as well.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. So, board members, please remember I'm going a little faster than normal because we have limited time tonight. Under legal, the attorney's working on a number of issues and projects. None of them are, all of them have been issues that we've discussed in the past. I don't see any problem, and all that work is progressing forward. Marcy Street Sanitary Sewer Rehabilitation being managed by CME is still green. It's within budget. It's on schedule, and we awarded the bid tonight to a Joe Med contractor. Pendleton Street Pump Station is also green. It's near final completion. I believe the emergency generator. Emergency generator was was tested, or is it? Joe, remind me, the PSE&G had some hiccups at the final scheduled day.
That's correct. It was setting of the meter, setting of the regulator, getting the gas service turned on, and that was all completed. And started up on the generator was on the 30th of December.
Okay.
Just a couple items to clean that up and get the station started. Fencing should be done this week.
Okay. All right, Somerset Street Pump Station, we discussed prior, we're close to concluding that with the next two payments this week. East Millstone is also green. Howard held a bid meeting this past week and answered any questions that they submitted. Again, that's on schedule and within budget. High Bay Garage project has been suspended to further notice. CME is still being involved in supervising the work with involving the New Brunswick Sewer Department and their billing, and also involved in supporting us in the Brookline, the Somerset Street Pump Station area rehab project that's in the process of being redesigned. Final project, Somerset Street Pump Station rehab. This project has been, in some sense, has been suspended and is in the process of being redesigned as to the scope of the project, and more to report next month on that. Though I do want to ask Howard, was there any final determination by PSE&G regarding the amperage available?
The gentleman who had to review our paperwork indicated that he had come back in from the field, but I have not gotten an email from him yet.
Okay, all right, so my report is accurate on that. That concludes my summary professional report, Chairman.
Okay, any questions regarding the professionals report? Joe, just one note, under Hamilton Street, before you submit this for the final meeting, can you just change the typo for PSE&G, the second bullet point? It should be, it says PES and E, it should be PSE&G, just so that we have them in the meeting minutes correct.
Hey, Joe, this is Surendra Tiwari. Hey, this PSEG situation, I'm hearing for three months or so. There's something that, I don't know if it needed right away, but if it needed right away, something we can do?
I'm sorry, if we need what right away?
I'm thinking of PSEG situation that we have been talking for 3 months. Is there something that we can do to expedite it? Is it needed to expedite it?
Sometimes there is, but working with PSE&G is sometimes working with another country.
I thought you're a friend with Sheldon.
Yeah, I mean, there are, like Bob Warnlocker, Township Manager, he has contacts in there. I have contacts. Sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, my position is until the engineer tells me he's stuck and he needs me to call that, because if I do something out of step, it could hurt the project.
I raised this is because we are talking it the last 3 months or so, that's all.
That's true. I mean, they're also dealing with reduced staff, COVID restrictions. We also had to, there was a little bit of a dance with also the township and the DPW and their water line, and then they installed it with a defect, and then the contractor had to fix that defect. But you know, we're near the goal, the end zone now. This is being completed real soon, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Joe, do you have an estimate of when we're going to actually be pumping?
Likely in the next 2 weeks. We have the fencing to finish up, and then once that's done, we get the TCO and we can be off and running.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for the professional reports? Okay, moving on, executive director's report.
Thank you, Chairman. So for the month of December, we received checks in the total amount of $464,364.76. Year-to-date collected $6,306,004.08. Of that, 6.3 million. I've seen this the last 2 months a noticeable reduction in the residential category of our revenue. Looking back over the last 6 months, particularly the last 4 months, the variance in our revenue collections are seen more unstable than compared to the first 6 months of the year, and certainly compared to 2019. I say that because that might be relevant for discussion later in the meeting. We do have an open invoice balance of $940,164.60. The penalties that were generated in the month of December, that, let me stress, that were forgiven, was $15,808.14. For our period of forgiveness, that's March through December, we have forgiven $161,080.87. That is near the amount generated for the same time period in 2019, with a deviation of about 8%, and that is an 8% higher than 2019. Regarding the revenue overall, we are at our 50% mark of revenue to date, and we are at our calendar 50% for our budget cycle. Under expense, our expenditures for the month was $1,840,747.38 for December 2020. Year-to-date revenue is $5,150,303.53. We are at the 44% mark of our expenditures, so we're a little low on expenditures, which is good. I will note that we did make a very large payment to the Middlesex County Utilities Authority. Our cash position, the unrestricted category is $1,845,638.73. Our restricted category is $10,300,481.68. Our designated category is $7,668,439.20, giving us a total cash position of $19,814,559.61. We did complete our 2020 audit. A tremendous amount of work went into that by April Roach, our administrative manager. The only item that was even discussed with us and the auditor was simply surrounded the municipal appropriations that we put into the budget versus what we paid out. And that has been articulated within the audit, and everything is compliant. Under COVID-19 status, basically everything stays the same, with the exception of the township, along with the county, but separate from the county, had put out a survey of asking municipal and authority employees if they were interested in receiving the vaccine as prioritized people. Categorically, we have 4 to 6 people employed with the authority that selected yes. We did have a winter snowstorm. We agreed to help out the town with snow plowing. We are in a process of assessing what our expenses were by helping them. It was the agreement between the authority and the town that we would help out with the understanding that it would not come to our expense. Scott Nacero and his staff members did a fantastic job. Under escrow, no escrow accounts are being released this month. However, we are following the attorney's recommendations regarding the process of contacting people. And then once we've exhausted that, we're going to then report and submit the monies we're holding to the state, the New Jersey Department of Treasury. We are on target to complete the filing with the state for those monies in around the month of March. For the month of December, we had 4 connections. Those were residential, and we are on the connections target, estimated target for the year. The continuation of waiving the interest penalty. I believe this is worthy of discussion. We are, so as things are evolving with the authority, we are seeing a significant reduction in residential payments being made, in addition to two of our projects are presented unanticipated project costs that could amount to anywhere from $100,000 to $1 million. I think the totality of that situation relative to our cash position, the board should discuss or contemplate continuing the waiving of the penalty interest.
So Joe, if you remember at the last meeting, we let it expire as of December 31st. So are you recommending we reinstitute it, or given the costs that we're about to just let it continue it be now go back to normal?
Right. I'm recommending we go back to normal starting the first of the year.
Okay, so that would be no action needed since it expired.
Right, because I'm going to continue. So I'm going to start the budget process for our next cycle this month, and we may be in a position where the best thing to do would be to hold a discussion regarding our current rates for our ratepayers. So, you can't do one without the other. You know what I'm saying, Chairman? And you can't. If hypothetically you were contemplating raising the rates, it really doesn't. It's really not logical to do that and not charge late interest penalty.
Understood. Okay.
Okay. Christian is still working with MCUA on the estimate status, estimated payments. Nothing to report with Southbound Brook. Nothing to report for the unions. Regarding New Brunswick, Andy Hollijulik and Christian are working very closely together to put the scientific data together. Once they complete that, as we discussed last month, then our entire team will sit down with New Brunswick and we'll be in a strong position, at least a knowledgeable position, to come up with an agreement with them. As things progress, I will report the same. Archiving and documentation. I did sign an agreement with a vendor to provide provide services of archiving our stored documents. Nothing to report with Somerset County Water Treatment Analysis Plan. So we sent a number of properties to the municipal tax sale, including all those bankruptcy properties that were on our list. And I'm happy to report that we have received a check in the amount of $114,000, $639.41. Much of that we would not have received had those properties lingered on the bankruptcy list.
Well, and to your point, that helps offset what some of the forgiveness that we did for the past year. So it doesn't make up for what we've lost in the past, but it at least helps this year a little bit.
Yeah, you can look at it like that. Disability broker is still in progress. The community virus monitoring program project, Progress has been made. Christian did submit an action plan to me today. I've not read it, but I have received it. So I look forward to that. The IRS issue, legal opinion is still in progress.
You should be having a conversation in my office this week.
Okay. And bank signatures have been finalized. And the resolutions, the standard resolutions, you've already covered. And that concludes the executive director's report. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, any questions for our interim executive director? Okay, so not on here is, we'll quickly go to committee reports. So personnel, just as a note, Ram, myself, Eric, and Joe have been looking at potential policies just around the vaccinations, just because that's a hot topic, but there's no action to be taken at this time. And I think this is a touchy subject to begin with and around the world. So we'll continue to monitor that, as well as Joe and Eric worked on a vacation policy with the realization that many people did not take vacation last year because for various reasons. So they worked out a policy to ensure that Scott's not overwhelmed with everybody suddenly taking vacation on the same day, and also that our employees were not impacted as much. Scott, the one thing that I had mentioned to Joe, and I'd like you to consider maybe for the next year or two, is potentially bringing on seasonal employees to try to help offset some of the easier work, whether it's just routine maintenance on the buildings or grass cutting, given that a fair amount of the employees will have a significant carryover of vacation time. So it's just something, I know that's a topic that that you have feelings on and we've talked about in the past, but it might be something to consider at least this year's budget cycle or next year's, just to get the maintenance staff a little downtime so they don't have burnout with that. But that's just a thought. That's an outsider's opinion looking in. So that's personnel. Going through safety, there was nothing, it looked like. Construction, looks like we have a project wrapping up. And then municipal, Joe mentioned that the authority assisted the municipality with the snow plowing. One thing that I think a couple of people on here might be happy to know, I have a draft ordinance for sump pump amnesty that will be brought to council probably by the end of the month for review. What we're looking at is an 18-month time period, but that could vary in order for us to start resolving at least Somerset Street and maybe getting some other sump pumps out of the system. And the thought behind this is, if we go in saying, tell us, and there's no penalty, maybe people will be more forthcoming and the guys won't have to work Christmas or New Year's next year. Maybe we can get enough sump pumps out of the area, but this would be a town-wide ordinance to try to work on that. So that should be brought to council by the end of the month. I got it from Lou Renone this afternoon. So hopefully that helps start the process in the Somerset Street area. With that, I think that's all our committees. Is there anything else that I'm missing? We have like 2 minutes to spare. So anything from anybody on the call that I might have missed?
One thing, Chairman, I see we were posting the annual schedule for 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Does that need to be voted on?
I thought we already approved that back in November.
You may have.
I believe we approved that, and then we had to amend it at the December meeting because of my request to meet earlier today.
Okay.
Are we talking about for this year? Or are we talking about for the upcoming year?
21.
21, 22?
No, just the year 21.
January to December is what we normally vote on in November.
So that's taken care of, April?
Yes, it's been posted, public notice.
All right, so it's the first Tuesday of every month at 6:30?
Except for election day.
For election. And tonight.
And tonight was 6 o'clock. And a reminder, next month is 6 o'clock for the reorg meeting. With that, thank you, everybody. I want to sincerely thank you for your being flexible tonight and starting half an hour early. It greatly helped us out. And also, I just want to say 2020 was a trying year for all of us. Everybody stepped up to the plate and really took the challenge head on and found ways to be creative and innovative and did what needed to be done. So thank you to everybody. I wish I could say 2021 would be easier, but I hope that at some point this year it gets easier. Teresa, do you have something?
Lisa, I think you're, Teresa, I think you're muted, Commissioner Ford.
I think she's just not close enough to her microphone.
Commissioner Ford, are you trying to speak? Because we can't hear you. Okay.
So with that, thank you.
Chairman Galtieri, I have one thing to add. Just for everyone, we did the audit approval adoption tonight. Everyone, please check your FTSA emails. I will be sending that out to each person. There's a certification page that goes with that. And I've already gotten it approved by Andy's office that I can get them from each person individually. And because of what's going on with COVID-19, he'll just connect them once he receives them. So please check your emails and just sign it and send it back to me.
Okay.
Thank
Please
you.
take care of that as soon as possible because this way we can close it out. With that, thank you, everybody. Happy New Year. Thank you again for meeting early, and we'll talk to you soon.
Happy New Year.
Oh,
Have a good
wait,
night.
we need a motion to adjourn. Do we have a motion? Okay, is there a second?
Second vote.
Okay, is all those in favor of adjourning the meeting, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, now we can say goodbye, Happy New Year, and we'll talk soon.
Have a good night.
Okay,
Night.
good night all.
Good night.
Thank you, Commissioners.